Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's see how long it'll take Matt to get into the live. But for now, please let me know where you are. Thank you for joining. Wherever you are watching from, let me know where you're watching from. In Toronto, it's incredibly rainy. So, yes, thank you very much for coming here. And we're going to have a fun live today because there's so much to talk about everything and everybody. Because, there's so much going on at the moment. Um, I mean, sometimes we wonder if, the crazies have taken over because it's it's like, when you're watching a movie and even though you don't know the ending, you kind of predict it and you're wondering, what the hell am I watching here? Hello, Maria. You're watching from Toronto. It's kind of rainy. Downtown Toronto has been raining like crazy. So thank you very much for watching, beautiful people. Please let me know how you are, if everything is okay. If you are doing very well, Scotland, I love Scotland. It's very beautiful in Scotland. It's been a while since I've been to Scotland, to tell you the truth. So, oh, Matt. Oh, my dear Lord.
Paula,
Hello, Matt.
how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Hang on, I need to put my headphones in and stream this to my audience.
Of course, of course. Matt, I am shocked. You are almost on time. Like a minute and 32 seconds. That's it. You're getting better and better and better and better.
I like to be
Hello.
fashionably late.
Oh, yeah, of course. Don't we all? Don't we all?
I learned it off my wife.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. And how are you, sweetie?
I'm all right. You know me. I'm always chipper.
Oh, yeah,
Nothing
of
gets
course.
me down.
Well, something got me down. I can tell you that. My son received an email. Thankfully, my son is going to be 25 this year. He is a U.S. citizen as well as Canadian, right? So he
Mhm.
received an email that his details have been submitted for drafting in the United States Army.
Really, I didn't. I honestly didn't think that
All the people between the ages of 18 and 25, no questions asked. They didn't ask him anything or anything. His details were put in. I can tell you right now that no son of mine, that's the only one I have, is going to go fight for Israel. It's not going to
it.
happen.
It won't happen. It won't happen. There's no way.
Wow.
They won't. They know they haven't got the support for it. You know what's different about this generation is, at the end of the day, we're all a product of our childhoods and we get brainwashed, don't we? Back in the day when the age of sail, when the British Empire ruled the waves, they never even thought for a second about doing the duty. They'd say, right, get on the boat for a year. They'd go, okay. Now, there's no way. They know that if they try to use a draft now, half of them would just outright refuse to go. And you can only police, because you're police by consent, you can only police a draft if the vast, vast majority of people obey it. And they know for a fact that half of the kids would just go, I'm not going. So they wouldn't even try nowadays. They'll offer financial incentives, they'll get people in however they can, but they won't do a draft. There's no way. So I
But
wouldn't
the
worry
thing
about it.
is, I don't know about you, but at least the wars that I've been part of or been around, there
Mm.
was always a sense of justice, a country fighting for their survival or something like that. But when you send a child to die for somebody else's war, that is crooked to begin with.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit right with parents. And I think that this is the big demographic that they're really underestimating, moms.
No one underestimates moms. The
You
other
should never F around with a mother, ever.
The other reason it'll never happen, a draft now, is because we're in a new age where the government can't control the information. And everybody now knows. They're very skeptical about the war. They're very skeptical about everything the government tells us. Look what we've just come out of. I went to Iraq based off a blatant lie. They killed one of the biggest skeptics of it, that David Kelly. And then they told us he had weapons of mass destruction. And then we invaded the country. Turns out my nana's got more poisonous things under a fridge. The
It turns
whole
out,
thing was a lie. Like,
well, it's right
so
now, it's the same thing with Iran. It's insane. I am so disappointed in Trump. And I took so much shit because, that was his heaviest campaign was no wars. I mean, for like, I think 20 or 30 years, because there are even old interviews of Trump. Like when he was
Yeah.
young, he was saying that, oh, what that is stupid move, And here we have, here we go.
I know.
It is such a disappointment, and yes, it's Israel's war. But I was shocked, Matt. I was shocked that my son, he got an email saying that his details, that he had been registered for a possible draft.
Honestly, I'm telling you, it won't happen. It will not happen. In this day and age, they know what they can get away with and they know what they can't get away with. There's no way. So don't worry. Worst comes to the worst, I would absolutely love to go and bayonet some Iranians. So you can I'll go in his place. They won't draft me because I'm 46.
No, it's between the ages of 18 and 25. Over 25, they're not drafting. Apparently, that's what the email said.
Yeah.
Well, Henry turns 25 this year.
It won't happen. There's no way.
But it's not a good thing to wake up to that and you get that email, right?
No, and you know why it's so annoying? I mean, it's annoying in multiple ways. It's also annoying because they love going on about equality now. They still don't draft girls, do they?
No, well, in Norway, you I don't know. In Norway, draft is mandatory for boys and girls unless you go to university.
Right.
But I'm not sure if it's mandatory for girls, but I think it is. Because my son had a mandatory thing because he's also Norwegian. I mean, that fucking kid has more passports than cards, than playing cards.
You're lucky. Being like middle class, you get to collect passports, don't you? It's hard work for normal people. I was really, really lucky. I only got everyone messages me all the time and says, oh, can you get me a job? I want to work at SpaceX or I want to go to America. And I'm like, listen, if you're educated and from the West, it's almost impossible to get here. Only if you're upper middle class or you have connections can you get a passport. I said there's one way and one way only for an Englishman to get an American passport these days. And that's the way I did it, which is somehow convince an American girl to drop her knickers for you. It is. It's
mad. She's really cute too. She's very nice looking too.
But look at the world. Look at the world we live in. It's hard. Like the reason we moved over here is because, I think I've told you this, my missus got told to leave. They make it hard for educated white people to move between each other's countries, but they make it easy for hairy, scary men from the third world. Like, think of that. My wife's got a master's degree, and they said, oh, you don't earn enough money, get out. Like, I was talking once, I've got more evidence for that. I was at a cinema in America and I was chatting away to my wife in LA. And the girl sat in front, heard my accent and turned around and said, are you from Northeast England? And I said, oh, how did you know? Normally you guys think I'm Irish or Scottish or something. And she said, oh, I know because I lived in England for 5 years and I loved it over there. And I said, oh, well, why did you leave? And she said, they threw me out. It's like an American girl, well-educated American girl living in London. And they sent her a letter and said, oh, you only make 31,500 and you need to make 32,500. You've got 30 days and you have to leave. If you're white and educated and female, we throw you out on your ass. But if you're a scary man from a third world country, we pay for you to come in. This is why they call it a conspiracy theorist. It's obviously a fact and it's on purpose. They throw educated white women out of Western countries, and then we pay millions for Somalian men and Afghan men and Nigerian men to come over. Like, this is how bad it's got. Think of that.
Yeah, it's pretty awful, to tell you the truth. And then we have this guy, Joe Kent, who resigned. That's brutal because you guys know that in this channel, we adore veterans. We don't fuck around with service people. No disrespect to anybody serving. It's here who has served. So Joe Kent, this is a man who knows what he's talking about. He's bled for his country. 11 tours, Matt. 11 tours. His wife.
Yeah, that's not nothing to be sniffed at.
No, I mean, you did 5 tours, right?
Yeah, I think I'm a tough guy and I only did 5. He's got twice my tally.
Isn't that something?
That's hardcore, man.
And then he had to, because he knows it's BS. He knows that this war is BS. You know, and it's insanity that one life lost is one life too many, in my very humble opinion. You know, it's I don't know.
He must have got caught in the pension trap, because you know what? Like, I can't believe anyone goes past the age of 30. Like, I love the military and I would have done a career. But the problem is, because most people who join the military only do the minimum. Like if you talk to anyone, most people only do 4 or 5 years and then they leave.
Yeah, yeah.
You either do the minimum or you do a career. There's very few people like me who'll do like 8, 9, 10 years and not stay for the career because they get you in the pension trap. And the other reason,
What do you mean by that? The pension trap. What do you mean by that?
So it's how to keep people at SpaceX. It's basically once you get past a certain amount of years, you're on the down slope for your pension. And if you do a full career in the military, if you do your 20 in the US military, the second you leave, you get a full pension. So generally, if a guy gets to like 10 years, even if he's pissed off, he'll stay for the other 10 because he knows he can retire as soon as he walks off the job. Like, that's the pension trap. Because as soon as you leave after your 20, you get a full pension. If you do 20 in the US military, you'll walk off the job with a pension of like 40, 50, 60 grand a year, depending on your rank. So they get you in the pension trap. And I'm one of the rare ones, and it's with me, it's because I got all political. Like when I was in my teens, and I joined up when I was young and dumb and desperate for violence. And then once I got into my sort of mid-20s, I started getting political. And when I realized that it was all lies, and I was on my 5th tour in Afghanistan at this point, and I realized that we'd been lied to constantly, and everything the government told us was bollocks. And then the final straw was the rules of engagement, where the government was basically looking after the enemy. That was when I just said, I'm not doing it. I'd rather not have the money. So for him to have done 13 tours or whatever, 11, he must have hit the pension trap. I bet he did the full 20, right?
Wow, I didn't know that. Well, you always educate us here, sweetie. Before we go, because I have to tell you this. Have you ever seen this series, Peaky Blinders?
Yeah, of course I have, yeah.
Okay. The movie, I was so looking forward to the movie, Matt.
I bet it was terrible, was it? They're always terrible. Movies based on good popular shows are always terrible.
I don't know who the hell had the plot. We all know it's the Peaky Blinders. We knew that that guy he retired, but he was going to come back. Spoilers alert, guys. They don't have Arthur. And then after I watched the movie, like I could fast forward the movie because pretty much almost a little bit over half is Tommy looking at the cemetery. And then he's like, should I come back? Pussy. I'm writing a book. And then this, oh, you have to come back. And it's like, for fuck's sakes, we know you're going back, buddy. Why are they wasting so much time in this? And then when he goes back, I was so angry. I was so angry because Cillian Murphy is amazing.
Yeah, he's good. The problem is, though, isn't it? A lot of the stuff that's good was pre-woke. Like Peaky Blinders is at least, 13, 14 years
2006 old? Or something like that. But the movie got woke.
Yeah, they make everything woke. Look at The Sopranos. The Sopranos was fantastic.
Yes.
They made a movie. It was terrible. They were like, oh, we know what everybody liked about The Sopranos. Let's make it all about a black guy. Like, what you doing?
Oh my God, talking about that.
It's ridiculous.
What's the name of this? They're Danish or in Norwegian. And they did this movie about Denmark in the 1750s, right? And of course, you always have that one idiot reporter. Well, you have no black people in the movie. And the guy goes, are you fucking crazy? This is Denmark in the 1750s.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, Mads Mikkelsen. I was laughing so hard.
How many Africans were in Denmark in the 16th century? It's unbelievable. Yeah, but you know what annoys me? I was just arguing with someone about this today because they know what we want. I'm sure I've told you this before. The woke stuff is a religion. It's like a cult.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that used to be an axiom for people of our age is they always said money will fix it. Money makes the world go around. Money fixes it. It doesn't anymore because they're in a cult. Like, they don't even care about the money. That's when you know they're in a cult. They know what sells and they know what we like and they refuse to give us it. That's how brainwashed they are. Like, I always talk about that with those Marvel films. They made $1 billion. The Avengers makes $1 billion. Captain America makes $1 billion. And they go, oh, these are really popular. So let's make Captain America a black man. Let's turn Thor into a woman and let's just do that. And then it makes a quarter of the money. And then
not even.
Yeah, the Marvels loses them $200 million. They don't care. They keep making woke TV and cinema, and no one watches it. They know what we like.
I swear to God, if they make Shakespeare a black lesbian woman, I will literally start a march because they're in talks doing that. And talking about the woke stupid things, King Charles, he had this initiative, this program for youth, for female youth that are disadvantaged and trouble. That is for boxing, right?
Yeah.
It's a boxing program for girls, for ladies, for females. A youth, to come and basically learn that and defend themselves.
I've seen it.
Well, he switched it to female identifying person, right? So, of course, a fucking bloke pitches up and wants to beat the hell out of the girls. Some male, you know what happened? So the parents quietly and scarily complained and said, you know what? We're really worried that, first of all, our girls are already being traumatized. They're growing up in a disadvantaged position. And yet they're going to be beaten by a biological male. We saw that in the Olympics. Guess what Charles did? What Chucky Boy did? He canceled the entire program rather than ban the men, having a man bash a woman. And now he's promoting the Muslims with a logo, with the royal thing for the Muslims. I am so fed up with this guy. I swear to God. And then what's her name? My friend Lauren, the Insider. She did an investigation that Charles only serves halal meat.
I told you he was a wanker, didn't I? When he very first.
I've always agreed with you. You know that I've always believed that he's a wanker, but there is hope, Matt. There is hope because William has said he will defend the Church of England, and Catherine has come out and said that she will defend biological female sports and women in sports. I think that there's a lot going on in there, and I'm a monarchist, and I was a royalist when the Queen was alive. Once she kicked the bucket, that's it for me. I became a monarchist. Yeah. But if somebody's saying, why not allow a phone in? Well, we would have to set up a whole system, won't we, Matt? But ask your questions. Just put QQQ, and then we'll pick up questions. If you have questions, leave them there, please. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
I want to do a phone in, but I don't know how to set it up. Yeah, I don't know how to get like a phone thing on there.
I guess you could get a separate number, clearly. Get a separate number, and I don't know how you hook it up. I'm not techie, but Ron from Sean Atwood, he's very techie. I'll ask him how it's done so you can do it. But you're an engineer. You work at a SpaceX, by the way.
I don't want a separate phone. I want perverts ringing me at 2:00 in the morning. That'll be fun, yeah.
But you can do like Alex Belfield, like Alex Belfield did it. He had a phone, and basically it's like a speaker. You put them on speaker, you put the microphone there. You can get another number, just put your phone there and put a speaker, and you can hear the questions. Just get a separate number and get a WhatsApp so people don't have to spend money calling you in.
I love arguing. I'd love to have a phone in me. I'd pay people to argue with them.
I did. You know what? I did used to have that for my members. Mm-hmm. And then stupid people from the Sussex squad got the number and started texting me and sending me nasty things. So, it kind of ruined the moment. Oh, yeah, it kind of ruined the moment. So that made me very angry. So, but there's so much going on right now, Matt. I mean, what are you making, and what happened to Ukraine? I guess Ukraine took what I was laughing at. Americans usually learn geography through wars because nobody had ever heard about the Hormuz Strait. It's like
yeah. Well, they're still bad at it, aren't they? I seen one of those street things where they ask them where Ukraine is, and something like 60% of Americans are not even in the right continent. It's one of those things. The mental thing is we're at war with so many places, and it's kicking off so widely that it's hard to keep up with it all, isn't it? We were talking about it this morning when my mother-in-law, and she was like, we're at war. India and Pakistan's at war. We've got them kicking off in Israel and Iran, and we've got this, and we've got that. And she didn't even mention Ukraine. I was like, don't forget the big one. Like, it's mad, isn't it? There's conflicts all over the place, and we can't keep up with them all.
No, but you would think that the woke thing about men in women's sports would be a no-brainer for Charles. You would think that, right?
It's a cult, though, isn't it? It's a cult. You can't go against the cult. That's what
Do
J.K.
you think
Rowling
he hates
learned.
women? Do you think he hates women because he married Camilla? Ooh. Yuck.
Yeah, well, she's a bit mannish. No, the thing is, I think that, as I've said to you, with a cult, you can't agree with 90% of what they say and then disagree on 10% and still be in the cult. J.K. Rowling was left-wing her entire life.
Yeah.
Agreed with them on everything. Agrees with them on gay marriage, abortion, euthanasia, gun control, everything. And then because she had a bad relationship, she goes against them on one thing about men in women's prisons. And all of a sudden, they all want to kill her. It's like when you're in a cult, you can't go against them. So Charles, rightly or wrongly, I think he knows he's in the cult, so he can't go against them on anything. He might disagree with them on like something like that, but he knows if you go against the cult, you're done. And they'll go from loving him to wanting to murder him. So it's like a hostage situation. There's no way a man his age actually thinks men should be in women's boxes.
Well, clearly they do. They had it at the Olympics. I did a video about it, and I mean, and they tried to demonetize. And it's like, no, I fought really hard. My team fought really hard because it was like, I'm a woman, and you know what? I used to lift weights with my dad. My dad was a bodybuilder, and I remember I was very proud, and I would do weights and everything with my dad. It would take me 3-4 weeks to get back into shape and do squats with 180 pounds or something like that, right? And I remember this stupid Australian friend of my dad, Jeff, who'd never done weights or anything like that. He would just come up and, do the 180-pound squat, and I'm like proudly showing up because, of course, they're stronger, they're different, they're built
not
differently.
Even close. The thing is, it seems almost trite for us to talk about stuff like that because everybody knows it. We might as well have a long discussion about why the sky's blue or the grass is green. Like you don't need to provide evidence for that. We know that men are stronger than women. Like it's so obviously as well known a fact as anything in science. Everybody, not only is it a known fact in science, it's known by 6-year-olds. Children know. That's why it's bad when men beat women up, because men are stronger. If we were all the same strength, it wouldn't be a big deal, would it? You'd see a guy punching a woman in the face in the street and you'd go, well, people fight. Like, it wouldn't be a thing. I've lost you there, Paula.
No, wait 1 second. I have to fix this up. Maybe you can help me because you have to fix. I want to fix this thing that every time I get off the live and I'm showing something, it freezes. This is Matt the Angry Bootnik. Please go subscribe to his channel. I can't believe that we haven't gotten him to 100K. We really need to get him to 100K.
I'll put a link in this thing. Oh, you know me though. I've been on YouTube's been on my balls since the first time I ever made a video.
I know. Oh my God. I told you guys, you have no idea. I used to get so angry because Matt, you used to get suspended pretty much on a monthly basis for 2 weeks.
For a while, that was the case until I learned my lesson and started using endless euphemisms. It was, when it first happened though, I was flying up until I made an angry video about the dinghies in England. This is about 4 years ago. And then the second I made an angry video entitled something like "Throw them all out," they were just on me like white on rice. I've toyed with the idea of. I've toyed with the idea of starting a brand new channel, but I'm too stubborn now, and I'm at 85.
Well, why would you need to start a brand new channel?
Well, because how it works is if you fly under the algorithm, they don't know, do they? If I start a brand new channel, I've got a mate, Paz, who did the same thing. He started a new channel. He was proper crawling up and he kept getting banned. So he started a brand new channel. And now he's over 200. Because once you're on the radar, they watch you, don't they, and they hamstring you. So I might wait till I get to 100 and then start a new one.
No, don't start a new channel. I have a new channel because I want to have a new channel for politics, but I hardly ever use it. And I have my Spanish channel. But it's a lot of work, especially if you work. You really have to keep on top of it. But it's, I was looking at so much things that are going on right now. The UK is in a lot of trouble, but you see Stammer and Charles is like nothing is going on. I was watching actually before you came on Charles's documentary about nature, and I'm like, dude, the world is on fire, and you're talking about your documentary. It's like, Churches, you know that Christian churches have been burnt to the ground. Not a peep from the king or stammer. But as soon as there's a little bit of rough riff-raff at one of the outside mosques, oh my God,
Oh,
you
it's
have to have
crazy.
tolerance and stuff like that.
I know. And the world's gone completely mad. It makes no sense to me at all. It's because we're there's a pecking order and we're on the bottom. Christians are on the bottom. Snack bar boys are at the top, aren't they? And that's the way it works.
It's insane. It's insane. And they just, I don't know if you follow this, but Candace Owens going at Erika Kirk. I mean, there's so many questions there. And she's so much like Meghan Markle, making up stuff about her resume. Apparently, everything is a freaking lie. And
Really?
yes, and Joe Kent, the guy, he did an interview, this veteran did an interview with Tucker Carlson. And he said that, he was, until 3 days ago, something like that, the director of counterterrorism. I would think that's a pretty important position, right? You would know of something. Well, he started investigating Charlie Kirk's death, and they were told to stop. And he says, even though there were really significant leads there that needed to be properly investigated, they don't want to know. The same thing with Trump shooting. They don't want to. You would think everybody assumed that because it was Joe Biden's government, they didn't want to know. And that everybody assumed that when Trump got into power, he would really try to find out.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? You can't know what's happening, which takes us back to the whole thing about you talking about a draft. Like, in this day and age, no one believes a single thing we get told, so they won't get away with it. Like, for example, the WMDs thing is linked to the Iran conflict, isn't it? Because I don't know about you, but after what happened, where I invaded Iraq,
when you invaded Iraq, that sounds like Troy, buddy.
Yeah, I invaded Iraq. They lied about that constantly, right? We were there well early because they wanted a British commando unit to go in and take the main oil pipelines before they even knew we were going to attack them, so they didn't burn them. And we were out there well early. I think the war started in the middle of March, and we were out there in the desert in Kuwait in like early February. And I was looking at, and we were watching like TV on the little telly we had out there. And they were like, oh, we're definitely not going to invade Iraq. And I was like, well, what the fuck are they doing in the middle of the desert then? Like, they lied about everything. And then they lied about WMDs, and we invaded a country and ruined it and killed 1 million people for a place that's got, like I said, less toxins in it than you'd find behind me nana's fridge. And then they want to tell us, oh, yeah, now the Iranians can hit London. The first thing I thought was, can they? Did they launch anything at Diego Garcia? Like, how do we know what's true and what isn't true? They just say it. Oh, they can hit London now. First of all, there's more mosques in London than there is most places else. I don't care if it's at London. And secondly, did they launch anything at Diego Garcia? Because they lie about everything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do not believe. I will give you an example. I actually thought about starting one of our lives with this kind of little bit of information, but around 1952, there's an American company. It was American Fruit Company or something like that it was called. They placed a phone call to the White House because they were angry that in Guatemala had decided that American Fruit Company, they had almost 42% of the land of Guatemala. So the new president who comes in says, no, wait a minute. People in Guatemala should be working this, and the profit should not be going to an international company, right? So they offer to buy the properties back at a fair price and everything, and say, you're welcome to come, you're welcome to rent, but we're going to own our own land.
Yeah.
So they placed a phone call to the White House. And after that, and this is way back then when they didn't even have AI. They started manufacturing such lies in the press that all the countries were gathering together and they were going to attack the new president, who a democratically elected president. That there were all these countries were about to attack, all these countries were about to do this, that the president got so scared that he fled the country and sought asylum. And then the United States placed somebody back in power who gave back the land, the stolen land, to Guatemala. 200,000 lives later lost. The United States never apologized.
Mental, innit?
But they manufactured the war. Everything was a lie, but they used the media to give the impression that all these countries were about to go to war with the current president of Guatemala, to the point that he thought, I can't fight everybody.
Even Vietnam, like, it has to all be lies. They have to know what's going to happen. And it's just for money or whatever geopolitical reasons they give us, because they knew that the whole reason the British never went right is because they told them, they were like, listen, the people that Ho Chi Minh's got popular support. Like, unless you're willing to commit an act of mass genocide and just kill 20 million people, you can't win that. He's got popular support from the people. And they went anyway. And then 66,000 Americans die, 3 million Vietnamese, and then now tourists go to Vietnam on holiday. It's just a capitalist country, and they go and drink beer in the bars in Vietnam. So what was the point in the whole thing? There's got to be ulterior motives.
It's all private companies. Like all these wars, I can tell you that the people who are making a killing, and I don't mean the soldiers, are all these gun arms companies. That's where they're making money.
Soldiers know the mushrooms. That's what you call yourself when you're a soldier. Mushroom,
What
live
do
in
you mean by that?
live in the dark, fed on shit. That's what you are when you're a soldier. But you do your duty, because young men do that. We always got brainwashed into thinking that. But yeah, I think it's a known fact at this point that
Oh my God!
ever since like the 60s, we've just been lied to constantly, and you never
I'm
know.
still unsettled with that freaking email about my son. You know that because there's no way anybody's taking my kid away. I can tell you that. You know that, and I think that I don't know if JD Vance is going to run anymore, because apparently things are so unpopular that he believes that his chances have been ruined to run in 2028.
Well, you know what's hilarious talking about that? This is what I'm saying. So just to put you at ease, your son won't get drafted. They know what they can get away with. What they'll do is they'll pump up the propaganda techniques. They'll give them financial incentives. There's enough working class lads, so they'll never need to have a draft. They can just use these alternative means. So that should make you feel better. But some evidence of what I'm talking about will make you laugh is, I made a video last week that you might not have seen about it. And it was a stream when I was talking about the difference between the military recruiting adverts. And it was like, before we started the war with Russia, the military recruiting adverts were unbelievable. It was like, I'm Sarah and my 2 lesbian moms got me to go in the army. It was like, oh yeah, cheers then.
Wasn't there even one wearing stockings and high heels and posing like that they were doing?
Unbelievable. And now it's kicking off. Now I seen a military advert in the gym last week, which is why I made a video about it. And it was proper war-y. It was like loads of white lads with guns, banging through doors and that. It's like, join the army, be a badass. But a few years ago, it was like, join the army, suck some cocks. Like, it went from like the most woke shite to back to what it should be.
I remember that the Russians were laughing out there. So we're not worried about the soldiers you're sending. You know, it's like that is so embarrassing. You know, it really is really embarrassing that puts soldiers at risk, to tell you the truth. You know, no, but it's true. It's true. And I want to talk to you briefly about this, because I don't know if you follow this, but Mette Marit of Norway. She just made an apology because a bunch of emails, she's married to the Crown Prince of Norway. A bunch of emails came out. And stupidly, just like Andrew, she gave an interview. Mm-hmm. She had weeks to prepare because they demanded the questions be sent in advance, unlike Andrew. Right. This woman couldn't remember why she continued socializing with Epstein. And then she blatantly came out and said, I'm not going to answer. I don't feel like answering it. So why the hell be there?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
And then she goes like, I don't feel like answering. No, those are my private friends. No. And everybody's angry at NRK, which is the thing, because she, at one point, she says, I don't remember. Well, I have bad news for her, because NRK should know this, right? Because she says that usually the government, they don't know about her private friends. Well, actually they would, because she travels with security. And I know this deeply, because every time a senior royal travels, there are security arrangements in place. They have to be told who they're seeing for just from a security standpoint. There's not gossip that is going to be leaked at the press. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the police handling security for all royals around the world, senior royals, they know exactly where you are and who you're seeing, because they have to vet. They send you with bodyguards. Mette Marit, since she married Håkon, she has never gone anywhere without security, and that has to be arranged through the palace. So, in 2018, seeing Jeffrey, and to me, this is the thing that is shocking, that people are not asking for this woman to be investigated, and her son isn't on trial right now for raping 4 women and assaulting other bunch of her father, the father of this young man, is a convicted drug lord in Norway.
Right.
So no, people are still thinking that this woman could be a proper queen consort.
Well, I mean, remember we was talking about how Harry was never going to get deported, because I just said to you, like, there's, at the end of the day, there's one rule for the powerful and there's a rule for everybody else. It'll be the same there, won't it? Like, they don't have to play by the rules, these people. They can do what they want.
Yeah, but Trump, I thought Trump was going to be different, to tell you the truth.
I didn't. I mean, he's better than, unlike many of the purists who follow me, I'm a cynic and a pragmatist. So I'll happily vote for the least worst option. Trump's way better than the alternatives.
Well, if people had known that Trump was going to be like this, I can guarantee you who would have lost.
Yeah.
You know that. You know that.
Though, Kamala Harris. She's a complete retard.
Oh yeah, but at least, I don't think she would have. I don't think she would have gotten so many people in the war. I mean, how much is the oil price right now?
Oh, it's dear. I don't know about per barrel, but gas has gone up a couple of bucks.
And it's about $175 right now, which is it's about to hit 200.
Yeah, the Americans freak out when the gas prices get to half the UK's. Because it is funny. They all freak out over here, and I'm like loving it at the petrol station. I'm like, this is cheap as shit. I'm there like burning a cigar with $1 bill because the gas is so cheap. As I'm used to paying for it in England.
Norway gas has always been expensive, so expensive, because they try to encourage people not to drive. They want you to walk or take public transport, right? Which is very good, actually, in Norway. But in spite of the fact that they are one of the biggest exporters of oil, their gas prices, I think, the highest in the world. And this is for their own citizens, because they're
ludicrous, isn't it? How are they've got all the oil in the North Sea, and the petrol's that expensive. It's completely preposterous. But this is the world we live in. This is what I'm telling you. It's state-funded misery. They make you miserable on purpose. They want to demoralise you. And my mother-in-law yesterday said to me, what do you think's worse? You seem like you're always going on about the 90s being better. And I said, everything. She's like, what do you mean everything? I was like, the TV was better. The music was better. The films were better. The police actually worked for a living. The economy was better. We paid less taxes. There was less illegal immigrants. I can't think of anything that's better now. And then I said, and the cherry on top, even the cereal is shit, because I tasted some Cocoa Pops when I was at home, and they taste like polystyrene because they've started this sugar tax. I'm sick and tired of this nanny state bollocks. Like, do you remember Demolition Man? When
of course.
Film. And Dennis Leary does that class rant about how I want to smoke a big cigar. I want to drink whiskey and smoke cigars and run down the street naked, covered in green jello, because I can. I'm a libertarian. I'm sick of this nanny state bollocks. I want the unhealthy stuff if I want it, because it's about freedom. If you want to be a vegan and drink nothing but Perrier water and eat carrots all day, you can. If I want to drink booze and smoke cigars, that's up to me. I despise this nanny state bullshit. Oh, they're trying to make
I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. And the problem is that they try to nanny state you while they're doing the things that they're trying to prevent you from doing.
Oh, God. That's how bad. Ed Miliband, private jet everywhere he goes. John Kerry was bad. John Kerry was meant to be the American climate czar. He had his air miles. He had the carbon footprint of 50,000 plumbers. That's the analogy I always use, because if you're a plumber or you're working class, when you fly coach with like 500 other people. When Prince Harry and Meghan get a private jet, the only reason the jet's in the sky is because of them. So think about it. Their carbon footprint's not just slightly larger. It's not like 10 times larger or 100 times larger. They're getting planes in the sky just for them. So the average wanker who tells you, ooh, you shouldn't go on holiday somewhere abroad because that's bad for the environment, their carbon footprint is as big as 50,000 plumbers. And they'll tell you off. You'll say, I want to go on vacation to Spain. And they'll say, you can't go to Spain, Paula. It's bad for the environment. Well, you're on a plane with 500 other arseholes going to Spain. These scumbags go on a private jet all for themselves. And that's what I've said for years. The future This I sound like I'm doing my Dennis Leary. I've seen the future. You know, when he says I've seen the future, it's a 40-year-old virgin singing the Oscar Wilde song in his pajamas. I've seen the future, and the future is you and me being told we can't go on holiday because it's
Yeah,
bad for the environment.
they're all flying
But
private.
they are on private jets, and they're eating fillet steak, and we're eating cricket paste out of a tube. That's what the future looks like.
Well, no, it's the same thing. It's just hypocrisy of it all, you know. And it's like now they're trying to say that, and this is people don't understand. For some reason, people think that the government makes money. No, all the money the government has is from taxpayers. That's it, people. If you don't pay your taxes, there's no money. Because now they want to give Prince Harry, security for a man who doesn't even live there. And I'm like, but they're worried about the backlash. Can you imagine? That sets a precedent because, okay, Harry doesn't even live in the UK. David Beckham does spend most of the time. Should he apply to get private security or security funded by the taxpayers? He's a celebrity. He's also a target. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
Again, and I want to...
Sorry, go on.
No, go. No, go for it. Go.
You're quite right. And I think that's a comment and a lot of people fail to understand is the government doesn't have any money. They always say, oh, we'll do this and we'll buy this. The government doesn't have any money. Every single penny comes from private enterprise. Even employees of the state don't make any money. A fireman, a teacher, a nurse, they're not producers. The people who create wealth are independent, private, small, medium and large businesses. A firefighter is taking from the pot. I'm not saying we don't need firefighters, but they're not creating any wealth.
Especially not the fat lesbian ones.
Yeah, they're especially the fat black ones who can't climb a ladder.
Yeah, if you see a fat lesbian come as a firefighter, I know I'm going down.
I know, it's unbelievable. Send in the fire lesbians. Did you see the one in LA who said, oh, if you get in a fire, it's your fault?
What?
Did you see that one? There was a big fat black woman in LA who was the fire chief. And she said, oh, you know, people criticize me saying I couldn't carry a man out of a fire. Well, you know, you have to ask about your life choices if you're stupid enough to get involved in a house fire. I was like, whoa, they're even doing victim blaming on fire. Like, they used to... These people, the war cry about victim blaming, don't they? Go, oh yeah, the woman might have walked through the dark alley full of Somalians at 2:00 in the morning in a short skirt, but you can't blame her for any of it. But if you're unlucky enough to be a pensioner and nature causes a wildfire and you get caught in it, then the fat black firefighter will go, oh, it's all your fault, that. I was like, what? They're hypocritical all the time, aren't they?
It's just terrible. You know, for me, you know, first of all, I like the hot looking firemen in California. They do have good looking guys. But then they started the DEI hire. And it's like, you almost feel like not wanting to call the fire department. I'd much rather have my house burned down, because what is the point? You call the fireman and only to be disappointed is either a fat black dude or a fat black lesbian woman or a lesbian woman, you know.
Wheelchair bound roller lesbian. Send in the roller lesbians. It's a mad state of affairs, but at least in America, this is what I always tell everyone, at least in America, they still have something akin to a meritocracy. Like in America, there's still states that are conservative, so you can still get a decent copper. In Europe, it's just totally done. I've told this story a couple of times, because last year my friend and his wife and kid came over. I got us all tickets to see Oasis because he loves Oasis and his son loves them. And so we went I took him to the Oasis gig, and after it, we were walking past, and because he's a little English kid, he's like 8, he sees a load of coppers with guns, and he ran over and said, oh, can I have my picture took with you? And the coppers were laughing. They said, of course you can. They took a photo, and I showed it to his mum, Ruth. I said, look at that. It was like 3 big muscly guys with rifles. I was like, that's what coppers should look like. I said, if this was back in Manchester, he'd be there with a big fat purple-haired monster, some little disabled, crippled thing. I was like, we don't even have coppers. At least in America, the police are still functioning. The police are still a little bit
scary. I got a story. Now that you're talking about it, I told you that my cousin is a head sheriff in California. I'm not going to say where, but he has Latin blood or whatever. He looks Latino anyway. People assume he's Latino. So this white policeman, because he's in a very affluent area. So of course they get called into this very posh place, and the white people were waiting out. The white cops were waiting outside because the robbers were black. So they didn't want to go in. So they radio my cousin, and because he's, they consider him Latino or whatever. So my cousin shows up and goes, "What's up, Nick? What's up?" To his friend, to the cops. And, why are you guys here? Why aren't you guys assaulted? The victim has been beaten up and everything, right? Everything wrong. Well, they're black, dude, and we don't want to lay a hand on them.
Don't want to take any risks.
So and he goes, so you call me, and my cousin is like 6'3". He's white, but he's got, like me, So he goes in. So you want me to go there because you think I'm mixed race, right? It's not gonna be as bad.
Yeah.
So literally, the victim got robbed, beaten, taken, because the white coppers were afraid to actually touch the black dude.
Well, it's a race to the bottom, isn't it? And I think so. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, it is. It's terrible. This is why we're lost, because if public safety is even affected by it, what can you do? Like, there's no way. You would think it's not that big of a deal if you have DEI hiring for like an office job. If you're just sitting in an office filling in paperwork, okay, shuffle a random disabled lesbian in there every now and then. But you would think if you're talking about like literally saving people's lives. But you know what I mean? I'd meet them halfway. If it was only...
What bothers me, Matt? Okay, I'm going to be very sexist here. You know what really bothers me? They don't even get a lipstick lesbian. They always get these diesel dykes. And I learned those two terms, two slang things. So this is why I'm proudly using them, because I didn't know there was that difference. Diesel dyke and lipstick lesbian. Apparently lipstick lesbian is a feminine one. No, right. It's like that stupid Jeffrey Marsh guy. Remember that idiot?
Yeah,
that guy with the guns.
Yeah, the creepy one with the teeth. Yeah.
That the way he portrays women, it's like we're ridiculous creatures. I have never seen a woman, no matter how feminine the woman is, behave like this idiot. Or that other one, the one from the Budweiser. What's his name?
Oh yeah, I forgot. He hasn't been Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh, there you go. Dylan Mulvaney. Oh, he's disappeared. But you know what I mean? It's like, why do they always send ugly-looking lesbians? They always send such cliches,
And how many times have I told you this, right? This is why. The reason I'm ranting about this stuff is because if you're a 90s man, an 80s man, you're an actual feminist. Like, I actually am a feminist. Like, I'm a little bit sexist. And I'll occasionally slap my wife's ass and go, put the kettle on, sugar tits. That's like normal. But that is feminist, right? Because you know they can take a joke. You know they can... So you're treating them equal. Like men, we mock each other all the time.
No, I like men to open the doors for me, to pull the chairs. If you can carry all the supermarket bags, dude, I'm not carrying even one bag. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm that age,
And I'm like a typical man. I refuse to do 2 journeys to the car. I will make it with 40 bags on my arms. Like, yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that is a feminist position, because my whole thing is I treat birds equally. Call them birds. They'll say that's sexist. I treat them equally. I use the slang terms. I'll have a crack with them. I'll mock them gently. I treat them the same as men. These condescending, ridiculous walkies treat women worse than any old school 80s sexist man ever. They treat them like, I mean, Christ, if that's not a good enough example, I'd never dream of putting a man in a frock in a woman's rape crisis centre. But they will. The tolerant feminist ones will. The world's gone completely mental. And I told you, in Scotland, that's why the Scottish Prime Minister had to resign, because she put a full-blown skinhead neck tattoo in women's prison. You must have heard about that one.
No.
Isla Brinson.
No.
I'll show you, because the photo will make you laugh your ass off. I remember the names because I'm always on the bloody internet. Let me just find one to show you.
What's your work, Matt? You're always on the internet.
I know.
That must be nice being rich, huh? Matt, now you're no longer a slave. Now you're the farm owner. What you call it? Slave owner.
Well, and that's what I told you. The irony is it's always working class people who get eaten, isn't it? The actual
Yeah.
rich people, the
Oh,
billionaires, they
and
can
did you see
flee.
that? I don't know if you heard this in Canada, but two couples showed up at old lady's, a grandmother's door to question her about a post on Facebook. And the woman's like, because she was berating the prime minister here, and she's like, what the fuck? Get out of my face. Don't you have better things to do? It's like, yeah, I don't believe in unisex toilets. That's bullshit.
Oh, I totally agree with you. You know, the other thing with that is it's a
There's
pain
no
up the
such thing
arse.
as unisex. Who the hell creates unisex things?
That is a pain up the arse for men and women because men now have to queue everywhere. In California, you've picked
Do
something
they
else.
have it in California?
We always agree on everything. You've just made something else that enrages me. California has these unisex toilets, and it's one of my biggest annoyances because they've got them in bars now out here in California, and not everywhere,
What?
but some of them. And you go in, and instead of having a men's room and a woman's room, it's like anybody, right?
Blech.
And I'm like, first of all, I have to queue for a piss now, which never used to happen because men in England is just a gigantic rusty bathtub and you're like knocking cocks with 10 men at a time, right? So I'm pissed off because I have to queue. The women are pissed off because they have to share bathrooms with disgusting
I wouldn't go.
men.
I just would. I'm sorry. I'd much rather piss myself on the street than do that. I'd much rather see the entire street sees my ass and my hoochoo than having a guy, it's just something that I don't want it imposed on me. You know what I mean? Don't impose that on me. This man has a cock. He's not coming in the woman's bathroom.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
so
sorry,
think
I didn't
about
mean
it.
to say it like that.
No,
it's true.
but think about it. This is what I'm saying. It's a race to the bottom. No one's happy. It's this woke cult because the men aren't happy because they've got a queue. The women aren't happy because they've got to share with the men. Who's happy? No one's happy. But some woke cult members happy. It's what woman wants to share a bathroom with men? Have you ever followed a man into a bathroom? Some fat, drunk Welsh plumber who goes into the women's bathroom and annihilates it with a 12-pint beer shit. I pity the woman. Any woman who follows him into a bathroom is going to need either a respirator or a resuscitation because of his arse, his rancid arse. Forcing women to share toilets with men is barbaric. I'm not even talking about sexual assaults and stuff like that. I'm just saying
it's terrible.
In general, it's terrible.
Did you see the fight of the mother? The mother was queuing outside the bathroom. And this burly man, because she had like her 7-year-old daughter inside, so she went in and checked the bathroom, saying, okay, there's no man. So she's literally standing guard outside. And this big burly man, dressed in rags with beard and everything, wanted to go in. And the woman just stood her ground and said, you're not going in. And because he was black, he was afraid to fight her, I guess. He didn't want to. He even knew that you don't mess around with a black woman because even though he's a white, tall, burly guy, he would lose it. Oh, let me get rid of it.
There's the Isla Brinson case. I've just
Okay. What is that one about?
Isla Brinson was a male double. I don't like saying the R word. YouTube hates it. A male double sex offender attacked 2 women. Right, got sent to the women's prison. That's him. Right. I also love how they always say women come in every shape and size. Women don't have to conform to gender stereotypes. But whenever you get a bloke pretended, it's always pink nails, pink lippy, pink phone case, pink luggage, pink leggings, pink
It's the
cock.
stereotypes. And you know what? The worst cliche stereotypes. They always choose white trash women or trashy women. Oh my God, is that the same guy?
That's what he looks like. That's what he attacked multiple women. He's got a skinhead and neck tattoos, and they sent him to a women's prison. And the Scottish Prime Minister said you have to send him to the women's prison because he's decided he's a woman. And the public was so much outcry. Scottish Prime Minister had to resign. So there you go.
I mean, I gotta tell you something. I gotta ask you this because who the hell comes up with this? You know what I think? And I think I mentioned it to you before. They should make judges and people who make these decisions liable, like criminally. There should be a criminal charge if a judge decides to send this and a person ends up getting hurt because of that choice that they made.
Totally agree with you. So this is the world we're living in. The world's gone completely mental. Nobody agrees with them. It's like we can always do a segue, but it's like what we were talking about. The toilets thing, because no one's happy. Women
No,
aren't happy. Men aren't
no.
happy. 99% of society is not happy. But the woke cult, they like it, so suck on
But
it.
what is it that they like? Because they don't go into the bathrooms.
Well, they like... Well, like I said to you, think about it. When you're in a cult, you don't think about what you like. You just parrot the lines. Like, a good example, I always say they're a cult or it's like a religion. When you're religious, you don't think about it. I'm not having a go at religious people because I've evolved from my position, which is militant atheist in my 20s, to sort of reluctant sort of agnostic in my 40s because things have got so bad. I was talking about this yesterday. A lot of people online are going, how come everybody's getting more religious these days? And I'm like, because we remember what it used to be like. I'm not religious, but I'll take the Harvest Festival and the hymn practices of my 80s youth to this shit we've got now, where we're getting battered round the head 24/7 by snack bar cultists.
Gang raping children, you know, little girls 6 years old getting married to these things, and like they're taking over Trafalgar Square, I believe, all the Muslims praying. It's like, why don't they fucking go to their country if they really miss it so much? This is one of the things I don't understand. If you move out of your country because you don't like it, why do you come to another country that's kind of like an invasion, a soft invasion?
To dominate, and that's what they're trying to do, take over. But because think about it, the point I was going to make there is they don't think about it, do they? Like, if you're really, really devout Christian and you're a Bible literalist and you say the world's 6,000 years old because the Bible says so, when people say to you, yeah, but there's radiometric dating, we can do carbon dating, we can triangulate our position, the speed of light. There's multiple ways we can prove that the Earth's billions of years old, but they're not interested in the science. And that's my point. Like, they don't care. They don't care about the science. They don't care about the facts. They're in a cult. And if you say to them, science, 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 man is stronger than a woman, blah, 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 they go, don't care, don't care, don't care. Put the woman and the man in the boxing ring, and she's only got a chance if she manages to get a lucky punch in his ball sack. That's the world we're living in.
Yeah, like that. Like in the Olympics, I did a video about it because I was so livid. Even Mike Tyson said, "Why don't you fight me?" Oh no, how dare you? You're gonna fight with a woman. And the bloke is like 6 feet something, and like the reach. I was so mad. I was so mad.
Are you on about that? Are you on about the Moroccan or the Algerian? Because
the Algerian one
was so obviously male. You could see the outline of his cock through his boxing shorts. Don't tell me that's a fair fight. I'm looking at his dick. Don't tell me he should be punching a woman in the face on television.
That is abuse. And then we have Charles saying, no, if you don't want a man punching you in the face, I'm going to cancel the project.
The world's gone completely mad, hasn't it? So like I said to you, you just have to laugh. Like, at least they're always providing me with comedy material, because you don't even need to try. It's easy to be funny nowadays. You can just read the BBC. It's comedy gold 24/7. Everything they say is backwards and upside down. And,
by the way, thank you for I just want to say my channel is Paul M channel, so you can go subscribe there. And of course, we have Matt here, who is the Angry Bootnik. We're going to get going because Matt is always on an hour. But Matt, you have to come back next week because I wanted to talk to you. We didn't have time because I wanted to talk to you about where we're going to see what happens in Iran, because this week is going to be decisive. If it doesn't get sorted out this week, this is continuing.
Yeah, I told you I have to have a strict timeline because I shout so angrily, I lose my voice after about an hour.
No, that's okay.
I'm not one of these calm, rational people who can talk.
No, I'm going on Sean Atwood to do a live with him too about Epstein and Erika Kirk and stuff, because I'm following that Erika Kirk thing for sure. You know, there's so many things that are so odd about that woman. And you know what really bothers me? Nobody grieves like that, ever.
No. Well, he wouldn't be the first good man who has appalling taste in women, would he?
Apparently they were separated. He had asked to separate, and you know, he found out that she was fucking everybody, and it's just horrible.
Really?
Yes. Oh, Matt, look, somebody gave whatchamacallit, they gave you
cheers, Motley. Cheers.
Yeah,
regarding membership. Get them while they're hot. Yeah, I do feel like there's something amiss there. There's something amiss.
And now her entire timeline, she was in Utah before he got shot. She had arrived at 10:30 that morning. There was that Egyptian plane. Apparently, she wasn't where she said she was going to be, and I don't understand why the FBI have failed to investigate her. Usually, they usually investigate the people closest to you first, just to either weed you out or weed you in. She was never touched.
Well, the way the world's going, I wouldn't be surprised if she's got a cock as well. We've got Big Mike and Macron's wife.
She was hitting on a 15-year-old girl when she was 20, 25, 26.
Well, there you go. It's the Holy Trinity.
You don't see that she was DMing girls, young girls, and she was telling, "Oh, I love your fish. Oh, I love the way your lips look." I mean, it's just horrible, Matt.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. It's the Holy Trinity.
It's horrible. It's all over the internet.
Big Mike, Mrs. Macron, and Chuck's wife. There we go. The Holy Trinity.
Mrs. Macron. You mean Emmanuel? Because his husband is I mean, he bitch slaps him. It's terrible.
There you go. It's the Holy Trinity. If I was in a room with those three women, the smallest cock in there would belong to me. There we go.
Or Big Mike. We forgot Big Mike.
I said Big Mike. Big Mike.
Okay,
Chuck and Mrs. Macron.
Yeah, of course. Yes, terrible. Well, thank you anyways, guys. And join me from Edward. I'm going there right now. Thank you, Matt.
See you later. Bye.